Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of C programming. First of all, I apologize for you all because I was unable to make videos from the last few weeks. From today we will continue. So let's talk about our today's topic. We're going to talk about variables. Okay, variable is one of the most important topics in C programming. In the last representation, we were discuss about keywords, tokens, and identifiers. Okay, and now what are the topics we will discuss today? What is a variable? How can you declare and define a variable? And what is the meaning of initialization of a variable? To understand variable, just think a glass of water. Here, a glass stores water. Same way, a variable stores data. Okay, so in C programming, how can you define a variable? A variable is an identifier that points to data storage location in computer memory, and it is used to store some value. Okay, like a glass stores water, a variable stores some value. The value may be a numeric value or it may be a character value. Okay, so variable stores some value, and also a variable is an identifier. Already you knew about what is an identifier. It points to some data storage location, and that storage location is known as the address of the variable inside the computer memory. Okay, and it here height, age, and average are the examples of the variables. So before using variables in C programming, we have to write the name of the variable. And also in C programming, we have to follow certain rules to write the name of the variable. Since a variable is an identifier, so for naming variable, the rules are remain same. Discuss the first character of a variable must always be an alphabet or an underscore. So when you write a name of a variable, you have to follow the first character may be an alphabet or it may be an underscore. Any other symbol other than these two symbols cannot be used as a first character of the name of the variables. Also, a valid variable can have letters, digits, or an underscore. So when you write the name of the variables, it only contains letters, digits, or an underscores. Also, digits cannot be used as our first character of a variable. A keyword cannot be used as a variable. Why? Because keywords are the reserved words. There are 32 keywords in C programming, and you cannot use those keywords, so those reserved words, as a name of an identifier, as a name of a variable. Okay, so it creates confusion. Also, it gives you a compilation error. And also, a variable cannot contain any white space character. So when you write the name of the variable, your variable should be meaningful. Okay, so let's take a look of some few examples and tell me what are the valid variables. So here there are some few examples of the name of the variables. So here in this first example, the first character is an alphabet and it contains an underscore, so it is a valid variable name. And here the first character is an alphabet, but here there is a white space inside the name of the variable, so it is not a valid variable name. Same way, here the first character is a dollar sign, so it is not a valid variable name. So here the first character is an underscore, all the characters are alphabet, and here also is an underscore, so it is a valid variable name. Here the first character is a digit, so it is not a valid variable name. Same way, here the first character is an alphabet and it contains a digit. Okay, so it is a valid variable name. Here the first character is an alphabet, it contains an underscore, it contains a digit, so it is a valid variable name. Here the first character is an alphabet, but it contains a dollar sign, so it is not a valid variable name. Okay, now let's talk about what is the meaning of declaration and definition of a variable. So before writing before using a variable, we have to declare it. Okay, so what is means a declaration. So basically declaration gives some details about the properties of a variable. What are those properties? First one is the name of the variable, another one is the type of the variable. There are two types of variable. First one is numeric, another one is a character type. A numeric variable stores numeric data like 4, 4.5, minus 3. So these are the numeric data. And a character variable stores a character data like A, B, C. So these are the characters. Also, when you write a character in a C programming, so you have to put a single quotes. Okay. Inside that single quotes, you can write any character. Okay. So that is a character data. And now, what is the meaning of definition of a variable? A definition of a variable basically tells about where the variable gets stored, and it gives memory allocation of a variable. So when you declare a variable, okay, the same time the variable is get stored inside the memory. Okay, a compiler get stored the variable inside the memory with some memory allocation, with some data storage location, and that is data storage location is the address of the variable. And also we don't worry about the address of the variable, and because we have to only put the data inside the variables. Okay, let's take a look on how can you declare a variable. So here in this way you can declare a variable, and here you can see that there are two properties. First one is the name of the variable. Here where one is a name of a variable and int is a data type. It is a type of a variable. That is, it says that which kind of data that variable where one stores. Okay, and also it tells how many data storage, how many bytes basically this variable use inside the memory. Okay, so int is a data type, and this int represent that a variable where one stores a numeric data, integer data. Also we will discuss data type in our upcoming lectures in details. Also you can see that here is a semicolon after var1. Okay, so since it is a statement, so you have to write a semicolon. A variable declaration always follow a semicolon. Okay, and now what is happening inside the memory when you declare a variable, and what is the actual meaning of a definition? Already I have said that the definition of a variable means that is a compiler gives some data storage location of that variable inside the memory. Okay, so here a variable, any variable has two parts. First one is the value, another one is the address part. Suppose a glass of water, a glass is your variable, and inside that glass that value is a water, and the position where you put the glass, okay, on the table is the address of that glass. You can understand in this way. Suppose you are stay in your home, okay, and you are the data of that home, and the address of your home is the address. Okay, so here home is a variable, you are the data, and address of the home address is the variable address. Okay, now you give your home to someone else for rent. Okay, now address is same but data is changed. Okay, the same way for a variable address remains same. Okay, you can only change the data. Okay, so every variable has two parts. First one is a variable value, another one is the address part, and that address is randomly given by a compiler inside the memory. And here in this way memory is categorized into address from low address to high address. Now understand how can you initialize a variable and what is the meaning of initializing a variables. After declaring a variable, after declaring and defining variables, we have to initialize some value inside the variables. That is, we store some data. Okay, here we only declare a variable, that is a var1 is an integer type of variable. And now here we initialize variable, that is we put some data inside the variables. And here int var1 is equal to 5. We declare and define and also initialize the variable at the same time, and also we will put a semicolon. So int var1 is equal to 5. What is the meaning of this? Here var1 is a integer type of variable and the data inside the variable is 5, and address of the variable is something that is given by the compiler inside the memory. It is a hexadecimal number, and I assume the address of this variable var1 is 1000. Okay, so every variable has two parts. First one is a data part, another one is an address part. Same way, another variable is salary, where type of that variable is float. Also, this is a numeric data, and the value of salary, that is a data stored inside the salary, that is 342.23. Also, we put a semicolon. Same way, salary has two parts. First one is data part, another one is address part. And here data is 342.23 and address is 2000. Same way, char grade is a variable name, e is a character data, and char is a type of grade, that is a character type variable. Okay, don't worry about the type, we will discuss, because we have a separate chapter for a type of variable, that is a data type. Okay, so here only understand the when you initialize the variables, so basically you store some data at that you store some value at that data storage location inside the memory. That is, you put some value at that address inside the memory. Okay, and that address is given by the compiler randomly, and you don't worry about the address of the variable, you have to only worry about the data part. Okay, and now we will write some program. How can you initialize a variable and what are the ways? Okay, in a Visual Studio Code and save the file name as variable.c. Okay, this is your .c file, that means a C program. And here write hatch include studio.h. Okay, after that we will write here int main, that is a main function. And now we declare a variable. So for declaring a variable, we have to write the data type, that is the type of variable. So we basically use here an integer type of data. Okay, so we use int keyword. So int is a integer type of data. Okay, that is integer data type. And after that we will write here the name of the variable. Okay, so suppose we have the name of a variable is var1. Okay, var1 is a valid variable name. And now how can we initialize this variable? So we have to just write here 5 semicolon. Okay, and after that we will print this variable. To print this variable we have to use a printf function. Also, you knew that whatever you have written inside the printf into double quotation, it is print as it. Okay, now here if you want to print some data, okay, the value of the variable, so you have to write for integer the percentage, that is a format specifier percentage. I will discuss about the format specifier in our upcoming lectures. So here you only understand that for integer type of data you have to write percentage, or after that if you have a suppose two variables you have to put 2%. Okay, and it's basically replace the value of var1 inside the statement. Okay, and here you have to put a comma and name of the variable. Okay, and here the name of the variable is a var1, and we have to put a semicolon because it is a statement. After that we have to write return 0. Okay, and it is also a statement, so we have to put a semicolon. So don't forget to put a semicolon after any statement in a C program. Okay, so we're gonna save it, And now when you run this C program, what happens? Okay, so the value is 5 here, the data part. Okay, and here 5 is printed as it. Also, what is another way to declare this variable, to initialize this variable? So first we will declare it as int var1. After that we can initialize it as var1 is equal to 5. Okay, you can also declare and initialize it in this way. So here also the data is 5 remains same. Also, you can update the data anytime, anywhere inside a C program after declaration. Suppose we have, okay, so we first put the data inside var1 as 6, okay, and after that we update the data as 10. So what is the new data? What is the new value of var1? That is 10. So a printf function here print 10 when we run this C program. So here this is output as 10. Okay, so okay, now let's take a look how can you write multiple variables. Okay, so for writing multiple variables we can directly declare it as int var1 var2. Okay, in this way, var1 var2 var3, and also we can directly initialize it at var3 is equal to 6, var2 is equal to 7, and any value that integer, that should be an integer. Okay, var1 is equal to 0, sorry, 9. Okay, for each variable we have to write a format specifier %d because it is an integer type of variable. Okay, so it is also %d var1 for var2 and var3. Okay, I'm gonna save this, and here you can see that the value remains as 976. And you can also write these single variables in another line as int var2 semicolon int var6. It is also another way for writing name of the variables. Now how can you write a character type of variable? For character type variable we have to write char data type. Suppose we have a variable named grade, okay, and character name is a. So when we write a character, single character, we have to write it in a single quote, and here I will write is e, capital E. Okay, grade is E, and put a semicolon. I'm gonna save this, and for here character we have to write as %c, and here you're gonna write grade. Our variable name is grade. Okay, so save this program. Here that is 976. Also you can do some operation with variables in printf also in this way. Okay, that is 2, 9 minus 7 is 2. Okay, so in this way basically you can declare and define your variables in a C program. Also in our upcoming lectures we will discuss about data types, and also what is format specifier, what is a scanf function basically works, and how can you use a printf function to improve your code quality. Okay, and thanks for watching, and if you like the video on C programming, so please do subscribe the channel.